Hey guys, welcome to Gaming Back today, bringing another video, and today we're going to go over all the builds for the G36 that you can make in-game as of the end of Season 3. So first off, Season 4 will be launching tonight into tomorrow here on June the 10th or the 11th, which I'll be covering upcoming. We have our new weapons. No roadmap was released yet for Season 4, so I'm assuming they're just going to launch it with no roadmap or launch the roadmap after the fact. So I'll be covering that on the channel here tomorrow, as well as giveaway information, which I'll be doing for Season 4 and the fact that we're approaching 20,000 subscribers. So check in tomorrow for that information for Season 4 and the giveaway. And in today's video, we'll go ahead and build all of the G36 variants you can make in the game as of the end of Season 3. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first, here is our MG36. Again, really quick, if I just go to our blueprints, we have the Heckler 26 here as it was first introduced in the beginning of Season 1 as one of our very first DLC weapons or post-release weapons in the game. So this is here is the MG36 at base, with that G36C type carrying handle on there. So let's go ahead and back out now, and we'll go to our custom build for the G36, or the MG36 in this case. So first off to note, the MG36 and the G36 both have the same barrel length on this weapon and in real life, which is going to be that 480mm, that 18.9 inch barrel. So let's go ahead first. We'll strip this weapon down. So I'll repeat I won't repeat all the attachments, pros and cons. As we build this, I'll do it once or twice for unique ones, and then obviously those will all be the same. So we're going to go through a few weapons here. I don't want to be repeating myself too much. So for the muzzle, again, this is personal preference for some of these attachments. We're building more so IRL builds, maybe not the best builds to use in game. I'll go over all the builds, and then I'll go over some custom Warzone builds that I prefer at the end of the video. So first off, compensator. This is going to help us with this MG36 specifically with the recoil control. So the recoil control on this weapon will be the pro, the cons, and the aiming stability. So we'll go ahead and select that. Now again, we're having the base barrel here, which it doesn't give us the actual length, but based on some of the other barrel lengths here, we can assume this is around a 20 inch or an 18.9 inch barrel, which would be the real life specification for this weapon. Now, the laser attachment on this one, you can go ahead and put on a tactical laser. That's, again, personal preference. That'll assist with the ADS speed, aiming stability, and the aim walking steadiness for this weapon. And the tactical laser is only going to be visible when you're ADSing, as I said, so just keep in mind when you are ADSing, that green laser will be visible, so you want to be careful where you're ADSing. You want to not give away your position too much. So we'll go ahead and select the first one here being the 4x optic to the Solo Zero K498 4x integral sight. So both of these integral sights are based off of the real-life ZF 3x4 optic. This is obviously going to assist with the zoom level. We have a 4x magnification, and the cons here, ADS speed with the extra weight. So this mimics the integral optics that come obviously in real life with the G36s. Now we'll go over some real life variations, or I guess differences between the base here and some of the blueprints that we're going to look at near the end of the video. But we'll go ahead and select that. And again, that's personal preference, just to make more so in line with the real life builds of this weapon. Next up, we're going to want the underbarrel. We don't have a bipod for this weapon, unfortunately, even though you have the bipod, which you can see clearly there at the end of the barrel, which is folded up, the handguard. So unfortunately, we don't have the ability to put a bipod on this weapon, which is odd because it is classified as an LMG in this game. So for this one, we're just going to go ahead and throw on a Merc foregrip. That's going to assist with the recoil control, more so than the Ranger foregrip actually as of now in Season 3. The hip fire accuracy is also going to be improved. The cons here being the aim walking movement speed and the aim down sight speed. So we'll select that. And then for the final attachment on this, you can go ahead and select for the stock. We'll also use the FFS Ranger stock. This is going to assist with the aiming stability of the weapon. Cons here being the aim walking movement speed. So we'll select that. Now this is our final version of the G36 variation for the MG36 using the Heckler 26 in game. We have that integral optic. Now note that this weapon does have the G36C type carrying handle on the weapon, which we'll go over some different variations there at the end. So this is the MG36. Go ahead and back out now. So we're going to go ahead and jump down to our G36 now. So again, this is going to utilize the same length barrel, that 480mm 18.9 inch barrel in real life. So some of the attachments here you can see are going to be the same. So first off, I'm going to strip it down. We'll run with the compensator. Again, this is going to assist us with the recoil control. The same pros and cons we went over. I won't repeat myself there too much. So we have the compensator. Now again, that same barrel length on this weapon, the MG36, the G36, and both the export versions of those share the same barrel length in real life as well as here in the game. For the laser, we can go ahead and throw a tactical laser on there. Again, just because we have the longer barrel, it's going to assist with our ADS speed. You can also run that 4x integral sight, or there is the other integral sight here, which show you, which is the FFS Integral Reflex. So this is just an integrated red dot sight. No zoom magnification on this. It's just going to offer a custom red dot sight. The only con, again, being ADS speed. Same with what we see with every other optic in the game. So we'll go ahead and select that on this. Now again, stock will leave the same. The rear grip we can skip out for now. The ammunition, the key attachment here is we're going to go from that 100 round base magazine that comes with the C mag on this weapon. We're going to go switch it to the 30 round of the 5.56x45 NATO. So the pros here, we actually get big buffs, and this was recently buffed even more with the last update here at the end or middle of May that we saw with this weapon overall. So the pros with the 30 round magazine is going to be the ADS speed, the sprint to fire speed, movement speed, and the reload quickness. The only con being the magazine ammo capacity, since we're going from that 100 round C mag to the 30 round magazine of the 5.56x45 NATO. Same caliber for both, just less ammunition. It's going to be overall less weight. We'll go ahead and select that. Then for the underbarrel, again, this is just going to be personal preference. You can go ahead, we'll build a couple different versions here, but you can go ahead and put on the Commando foregrip, I would recommend, or even the Merc foregrip based on the recoil pattern. So for this one, we'll just switch it up and use the Commando foregrip. That's going to assist the recoil stabilization and the aiming stability. The only con here is the movement speed. So keep in mind with your Commando foregrip and Tactical foregrip are the only two underbarrel attachments that you won't have any decrease to the ADS speed, as you will with every other attachment in the game. So hands down, you want the Commando foregrip over the Tactical. The Tactical foregrip really serves no purpose when you have the Commando. It gives you greater pros versus the cons. So we'll go ahead and select that. So those are four of our five actually those are all 5 of our attachments. So this is the final design for the G36 with that G36C type carrying handle on the weapon. Again, you can see the integrated optic there over the carrying handle, which looks a little odd, but there's a couple different variations we'll look at with some blueprints after this. So this is the G36, the assault rifle variation of the G36 weapon class. So we'll go ahead and back out of this. Next up, we're going to cover the G36KA4. So in real life, this weapon has a barrel length of 12. Oops, let me go ahead and jump into this. So it has a real life barrel length of 12.4 inches or 318 millimeters. So again, on this one, we're using the integral optic as well. So again, we're using just that typical red dot sight that we see on this weapon. Nothing special there. Now, also an interesting note is the K in G36KA4 is the German word Kurz, which means short. So this is essentially just a shorter version of the G36 assault rifle for more in line with a carbine variant of the weapon. So again, for the attachments here, we have a little bit of switched up as we covered. We still have that integral optic. We're running the XRK ultralight barrel. So this barrel, you can see the difference is we have the Picatinny rails on all 4 sides, the left, right, top, and bottom. This is going to assist us with the aim down sight speed. The only con being the bullet velocity, since we're going with that shorter barrel overall. So we get the handguard change with this, giving us the Picatinny rails. And then obviously we have the cons here with the bullet velocity, but we're able to have a more aesthetic looking weapon overall. So we'll go ahead and select that. Again, we're running the tack laser. This is just personal preference. Skipping out on the stock, the perks, and the rear grip, we're also going to run the 30 round magazine here with all those pros. And again, this was recently buffed, so it even increased these pros even more than they were originally. And then a Commando foregrip, again, just for that recoil stabilization and aiming stability. The con here, the movement speed, but again, we're not taking a hit to the ADS speed. But you can really feel free to use whichever underbarrel you want. We're mitigating everything with that tactical laser on this build. So we'll go ahead, and this is our final design for the G36KA4 variation of the weapon. Again, this is K meaning cruise for short in German. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Be sure to correct me below if I'm not. So again, this is just a shorter variation or a carbine variation of the G36 assault rifle. We'll go ahead and back out of that. We're going to go now to our G36C. So a lot of you guys should remember this from Modern Warfare. I believe the original. I'm not sure how it made its appearance in Modern Warfare 2. But again, this particular one I'm building more so off of the build that Grand Thumb made in one of his videos. I really like that video, and I think I kind of modeled this after that as much as possible. So for this one, again, we're using the compensator to assist us with that recoil control. The barrel here is going to be the FTAC 9.8 inch barrel. Now, in real life, this is actually very close again to the real life length of the barrel. In real life, the G36C has a 228 millimeter barrel or a 9-inch barrel. So this is just about a 9-inch barrel. Again, we have those quad Picatinny rails on the weapon. This is going to assist with our ADS speed and the movement speed on this weapon, as well as the recent buffs that, again, were given to this weapon in the latest patch. So the Spitfire barrel here has improved ADS time, faster movement speed, and reduced hipfire spread on the weapon as well. So that was all part of the recent buff, making this barrel and the weapon overall a better, more viable weapon to run in game for both multiplayer and Warzone. Now the only cons here, again, bullet velocity and recoil control that come with the shorter barrel attachment on this weapon. Now for the optic, again, this is personal preference, going more towards what Grant Thumb made in his video where he actually fired this and reviewed the weapon itself. This is just an aim op reflex sight modeled after the real life aim point optics. So the pros here, again, just precision sight picture. It's just a different variation of red dot. Essentially the cons here being the ADS speed. And then again, we want that 30 round magazine to go from the 100 round C-Mag to the 30 round of 5.56x45 NATO. And then the commando foregrip, again, this is just going to not impact our ADS speed at all. But again, if you really want to hip fire this a little bit more and have better recoil control, the Merc foregrip is also a very good option here. But for aesthetic purposes, we'll go with the commando foregrip on this. So this is our G36C. And now C is not C for carbine. It's actually C for compact in German. So again, C does not mean carbine. It actually means compact variation of the weapon. So this is the final design for the G36C. Now let's go ahead and back out. That's all the builds that you can make for the variations of the G36. But really quick, what we'll do is cover some different builds using the blueprint. So first off, I want to cover the Xerocole blueprint. Now this is at base a G36 blueprint. So what I'm going to do is just go into our blueprints for the weapon. The Xerocole, we'll go ahead and select that and bring it up here. We'll edit the weapon. This is the G36C blueprint for this weapon. You can see we have the different FFS infantry, has the different buttstock on the weapon, has a cheek rest and a little bit overall aesthetically different design. We have that same integrated FFS integral reflect red dot optic on the weapon. We have the FTAC 8.98 Spitfire barrel giving us that G36C barrel length. Again, we have the 30 round magazine. And then there's no fifth attachment here, so I would say use this at your discretion. You can put on something like a tactical suppressor to give it a nice look there, or use that other fifth attachment as you see fit for perhaps even an underbarrel attachment. We can go ahead and put on the commando foregrip there, and that looks pretty nice as well. And you can see obviously we have a tan version of the weapon here. So the big major cosmetic changes are we have the overall camouflage change going from black to tan. We have 16 written on the left and I believe the right side of the weapon. We have the black electrical tape on the pistol grip. We have 06 on the base of the magazine there. And that's really it. Then we have obviously the changes to the buttstock as well with that adjustable cheek rest that we have there. And we have the actual button or the latch built in for that adjustable buttstock where you can see there it will fold to the right hand side. So we have the button there you can see on the left versus on the base G36C, which I'll go ahead and back out here. And we can see this design. You don't really have the button that's visible, at least for that foldable stock. Now we'll go ahead and back out and we'll cover the Gilded blueprint. So the Gilded blueprint came as part of, I believe, the end of Season 1 as well. This was one of the last unlocks in the battle stream. So if I go ahead and go to our blueprints, we have the Gilded right here as the first one. So we'll go ahead and select that. Now this came with some different attachments. We have the 5 milliwatt laser on this. This is going to assist with the hip fire accuracy and the sprint to fire speed. The cons here being that the laser is going to be visible to enemies unless you're sprinting or ADSing. So just keep that in mind with this one versus the tac laser where you're ADSing and it's visible. This is going to be visible if you're walking, but not if you're sprinting or ADSing. The other perks just came with fully loaded. It was a perk, so max start and ammo. They come with full ammo on this weapon. The stipple pistol grip, so this is going to assist with the ADS speed and the sprint to fire speed. The con here being the aiming stability. The 30 round magazine, again, we went over that, and you can see the cosmetic changes to that. And then we also have the Merc foregrip for the recoil control and the hip fire accuracy. The cons here, aim walking movement speed and aim down sight speed. So again, we just have the white cosmetic design changes to the Merc foregrip as well as the white laser on the weapon. Some things to know here, this is a different type of carrying handle. This is a low profile carrying handle on the weapon. So you can see the changes to the carrying handle there. Very similar to some of the different, I guess, blueprints you could call them that we had in Modern Warfare Remastered. There was some similar looking ones like this of the G36C, which we'll go over here in a second. The bipod you can see is moved from the underbarrel to up top, more towards the top of the Picatinny there, which makes it not really usable and kind of odd, which is strange that it's there. For the last set, you can see here I have G36C low, the KA4 low, and the H&K G36 low. So all of these are built off of, we'll start with our G36. We'll start with the G36 low. So this is built off of the Necrosis Blueprint. So if I go to my bundles, And I'll go ahead and link all these down below if you're curious to go in more in depth with these. So the Necrosis Blueprint was part, I believe, here of Season 3 as a purchasable item in the store. So you can see, so this is really the same thing as the Gilded Blueprint, just we have the changes to the buttstock, which is the exact same thing we saw with the Xerocole, just obviously different color schema on the weapon. And then we have that low profile carrying handle there. And the same bipod changes to this weapon. The bipod is not on the underbarrel, but it is on the top. So this at base, again, is your MG36 with that low profile carrying handle on the weapon. Or the low profile Picatinny rail on top, I guess you could call it. So we'll go ahead and back out now. Our G36, this is our G36 low. So this utilizes, again, just that 4x optic, which actually you can see here, using it on this one versus the base G36, this is actually more integrated versus the other one that has that G36 carrying handle. So since we have the low profile Picatinny or carrying handle on the top of the weapon here, this is actually a better variation of the integrated optic, which sits more so into the weapon versus the other version of the weapon using the base Heckler 26. So again, basically the same attachments on this, and we'll jump back into this again in a second. We have also the same low profile look on the KA4 version of the weapon. The only difference is here that I'm using that 4x flip optic. I think that just looks aesthetically really pleasing on this weapon. I also switched up using Franken-smithing you can see the color on this in the or the G36. You have that 30 round magazine by selecting the Xerocole blueprint option for the standard 30 round magazine on the weapon. And again, you can see that very aesthetically pleasing weapon. Overall, I prefer this blueprint for all my builds just because it looks more tactical and realistic. And again, I like this version of the standard black finish versus the base G36. You also have the handguard changes to the weapon itself. If I go to the G36 itself here, you can see the handguard itself is much different than the base. So let me go ahead and back out so you guys can see we have the G36 low. So take a look at that handguard there with the Picatinny rails. And if I swap down to the G36 here, you can see the changes. So we have a different quad Picatinny rails on the Necrosis Blueprint, which has Picatinnies on the left, right, top, and bottom, versus the handguard that here, which only has Picatinnies on the top and bottom for the base Heckler 26 or G36 in game. So again, those are the different variations of that weapon. Now again, we'll cover the G36C low profile. Again, this is the same Necrosis Blueprint, utilizing some different attachments here just to make it more in line again with a much more, I think this blueprint gives it a more modernized look with that low profile carrying handle, as well as we have the Spitfire barrel with the nice quad Picatinny rails on there. But again, all these blueprint bundles look the same. Changing the barrel size on the weapon will not impact the aesthetics or the cosmetics of the blueprint itself. So if I look at the customization, just camouflage wise, it's going to affect everything but the buttstock for some reason on this. I believe it does the same thing with the Xerocole, if memory serves correctly. And then obviously the magazine is going to be affected here as well, no matter what blueprint option you're using. So for Warzone builds, now the G36, I'll link the video down below. The only difference with the Warzone build here is that I'm going to utilize the 4x flip hybrid optic. So this is going to give us that holographic, EOTech holographic with the 4x flip toggle. So you have the standard zero zoom EOTech sight as well as the 4x magnifier. And the only cons here being the ADS speed on the weapon. But again, this is a really good solo build right here. Now you can run this, again, this is personal preference to run it without the compensator. You can also go ahead and put on a monolithic suppressor for Warzone. This will assist with the sound suppression and damage at range. The cons here being the ADS speed and the aim walking steadiness. So I'll link that Warzone video down below where I actually get wins with both of these attachments. And I think it's really just personal preference which one you want to use. Again, that's mainly solos. If you're running in anything but solos, you definitely want to suppress in there, and I would utilize that monolithic suppressor. But that's a really good Warzone build there. I also have the same Warzone build for the G36C low profile. The only difference here, again, is that I'm going to go ahead and put that 4x flip on there, and I'm going to swap out the Commando foregrip for the Merc foregrip, since this is really our best attachment for recoil control. And since we have a short build of the weapon here with the C for compact, we're going to utilize that hip fire accuracy that comes with a Merc foregrip on this weapon as well. So we'll go ahead and select that. And then for the magazine, whenever I'm running this in game, I'm always going to run the Xerocole blueprint option for the 30 round mag. I just like that black and tan option that we get here. So that is the G36C design that I run in Warzone. Now the only one that I really haven't tried to get a win with yet is the KA4 version, but this is exactly what it's going to look like. It's going to look just like this with that barrel, the tack laser, flip sight, 30 round mag, and the Merc foregrip. Now again, you can go ahead and swap out the tactical laser for the muzzle being either a compensator or perhaps even a monolithic suppressor. Based on personal preference, this weapon doesn't really kick too much at base with these attachments, so I think it's really personal preference which one you want to use. But those are all of our G36 builds in the game. Again, I'll link all the videos down below. Let me know what you guys think of this. What's your favorite version of the G36 in game? Is it the MG36, the standard G36 assault rifle, the G36KA4 or the short version, or even the compact being the G36C? And which blueprint you like the best? What do you usually run? Do you run this in Warzone, or do you run it in multiplayer, or do you not really use it that much? Again, this recently received buffs here at the end of May with the last update we had in Season 3, the major update. And overall, I'll link all the buffs below, but it increased movement speed, improved ADS, slight recoil reduction, and then each attachment received a lot of buffs as well. So this weapon is much more viable in multiplayer and in Warzone now. It's actually one of my favorite Warzone weapons that I've used to do videos on and get wins with. So again, let me know down below what you guys think of this. Let me know if you're excited for Season 4, and stay tuned tomorrow for Season 4 content. We'll be doing the Vector conversions as well as the Ace Galil conversions and anything else that comes with Season 4. I'll also be announcing some giveaway options tomorrow as well, which we'll be doing here on the channel as we approach 20,000 subscribers, along with Season 4 giveaway. So let me know down below what you guys think, how excited you are for Season 4, what you're looking forward to the most, and until next time, Buffner Gaming, out.